In the north of Singapore, on the Straits of Johor, Tan Ying Te and his team from Sunseap are building the world's largest nearshore floating solar test bed. It's challenging to deploy this in the sea with its waves and fluctuating tides.
So as much as possible, we would like to do bulk of the installation on land because it's stable, right? But there are significant portions where we will still have to do on the water. We launch 16 panels at a time, and that's where they will be linked up sequentially to form a much larger unit. They'll be attached by these nuts and bolts secured together so that they don't move even with the waves and movements of the tide. Along the perimeter of the farm, we will have anchoring points. So each of these anchoring or mooring points will have an individual sinker attached to it. So each sinker is about 2 tons. They're made of concrete and then with chains attached to the perimeter of the farm to hold it in place.
Sunseap is building this project in collaboration with other small and medium-sized enterprises. The subsea cables and 11-ton transformer were installed with the help of a marine engineering company. And the floating modules are the specialty of a construction company called ISOTeam. Richard Chan is ISOTeam's general manager.
As you can see, our floating modules behind me, they are designed to withstand the forces of the sea over a long time. And we did rigorous testing before eventually launching them in the sea.
Richard says before they mastered floating structures, they built their reputation maintaining and upgrading housing estates for town councils.
You can see from behind me, we are doing our cosmetic cyclical R&R works to housing estates, which we do as our core business for the past 2 decades. It's like making an old woman look young again, right?
Their work servicing housing blocks evolved into a journey to solar installation.
It's all way back in 2015. ISOTeam also does re-roofing to the rooftops of HDBs. Right? So back then, we realized there are other companies, energy companies also installing solar panels on the rooftops of HDBs. That is where ISOTeam got involved in solar panel installation as well. ISOTeam has roughly completed about 7 or 8 projects of solar panel installation in Singapore, and we completed roughly about 15 megawatts so far.
Making green landscaping for the Housing Development Board led to their launch into floating construction.
Behind me is an iconic floating wetland. Here we are in Punggol Waterway. As you can see, the floating modules are modular in nature. You can configure the floating wetland system into various sizes, depending on the type of floating system or island that you need.
The expertise they gained from past projects equipped them to install solar panels on floating modules.
This Woodlands Senoko floating solar project is an extension of both skill sets being merged into one. But on a personal level, it does give me a lot of personal satisfaction. It's our duty as each citizen to do our part in terms of improving climate change in the region as around the globe.